there is a contraction that our culture encourages into the self, where we feel the self in its independence. We feel I'm in here and the world is out there. And if we hold on to that structure of the self, that way of feeling the self, then clarity of being is compromised, because being is not something that is contained. It's not something that stops at your skin. And an acronym that I've got to name impediments to presence, and these are impediments that are really culturally mired. And the first of those impediments in this acronym is something I call presentation mode. Now, presentation mode is what we generally see as we grow up. It's a natural thing because you want to present yourself, you want to present your ideas, you want to, um, you want people to see how smart you are or how up to date you are. We present ourselves, and it starts at a very young age, because as a baby, I think there's nothing we more deeply need than to be seen, to be loved, to be accepted. And most babies quickly learn that their wholeness is unacceptable. They're too noisy, they're too demanding, they're inconvenient, whatever it might be. And so we learn to present ourselves in a way that wins that hug we so deeply need, that lights up that smile that in turn lights up our being. And we go on presenting ourselves, and it's a natural thing given how we want to be perceived. But in my experience, you can't be in presentation mode and be present at the same time, because presentation mode pulls you into a role in which you're trying to elicit a certain response in the person you're talking to, which means you're not fully present to either yourself or to them. The second word in this acronym is anticipation. We, we accept as normal that we live with this cloud of anticipation, all these things we need to do, we need to get ready for, need to prepare for. It lives above us. And what it does is it takes our energy out of our center and brings it up high in the body, brings it up into the head, and we're sort of supervising all these things that we need to be doing. And if you are if you're in a state of anticipation, I mean, I think you can see you're not you're not present. You are reaching for what might happen, and your focus is on that rather than being at rest in what is here now. The third of these words that impede presence is independence. And this is a big one. I mean, we're taught to be independent. We're taught of independence as a value towards which we should strive. And I mean, the bottom line for me is there's no such thing as independence. It's a fantasy. Yeah, I mean, I wait for someone to point to one example in the cosmos of independence. It doesn't exist. Everything depends on everything, everything influences everything, everything participates in everything else. There's no such thing as independence. So we're striving, like the tyrant of mythology, to uh, establish the battlements, the isolation that separate us from the world, that hold us safely within that boundary. And, the theory is, well, if the world can't get to me, I'll be safe. But that, ultimately that boundary becomes a sort of prison. And again, to be present, presence is a state of porosity. It's a state whereby you are permeable to what is around you rather than sitting apart from it and sort of gazing out at it from within the encapsulated intelligence of the head as it happens. The fourth rather of these qualities that keep us from presence is needing to get it right. And boy, we need to get it right in so many ways. But as soon as you give in to that needing to get it right, you're putting the head in charge because the head has the idea of what right means, of how right looks, and of how we should find our way to it. And if you're in your head, again, it's through the body that we feel the present and attune to the present. It's being present is a sensational experience that is imparted to us through the flesh. So I don't know if you followed the acronym, but presentation mode, anticipation, independence, needing to get it right. It does spell out PAIN, which helps me remember where those qualities lead.